Welcome, beloved seekers, to this space where hearts gather to touch deeper truths. Today we gently approach a theme that lies close to many hearts: finding purpose when the old life no longer fits. If you find resonance in these explorations, I invite you to join and share your reflections. Here, we travel deeply together, with sincerity and courage. The threshold between who we have been and who we are becoming is sacred, not a place of error, but a place of profound revelation. When the garments of our former lives constrict rather than comfort, the soul begins to stir. Questions rise like constellations through the dusk. What calls me forward now? Who am I, untethered from old definitions?
Why does purpose seem to disappear so suddenly? One day life feels solid, and the next, nothing makes sense.
The vanishing of purpose is not a failing, friend, but a spiritual summons. Our sense of purpose is a living thing, like a river, ever shifting course as it meets new landscapes of soul and circumstance. Often, the soul orchestrates this dissolution when the old purposes have completed their sacred work. It is not that meaning dies, but that your being outgrows its shell. The sudden disappearance is the call to enter the liminal, the unknown, for only in emptiness can the deeper voice be heard. Though it feels bewildering now, this loss is secretly a blessing. It is the opening through which a greater, truer purpose may emerge.
But how do I trust this emptiness? It just feels like I'm drifting or failing.
Trust does not arise from trying to force meaning where none is. It comes from honoring the emptiness as initiation. Our culture teaches us to fill every silence, patch every gap. Yet, in spiritual alchemy, the void is where transformation occurs. If you can greet the emptiness not as failure, but as mystery, if you can allow yourself simply to be within it, you may begin to sense its subtle undercurrents. The emptiness is not a void of life, but a womb for new being. Sit with it as you might sit at dawn, watching the first light return after a long night.
What if I never find a new purpose? What if I just stay lost forever?
The fear of endless wandering is itself part of the passage. But remember, the psyche, like nature, abhors true stasis. The longing you feel is itself the sign of your soul's movement. Even the ancients described the dark night as a pregnant emptiness, not a permanent void. Gnosis, inner knowing, is birthed from such states. Don't demand revelation too quickly. Instead, gently attune to small inclinations, fleeting wonders, quiet yearnings. Your purpose is not a destination, it is an unfolding process, intimate and unique. Even your lostness is part of your path.
It sounds so poetic, but day to day, I just feel numb or anxious. Is there meaning in that?
The numbness and anxiety are not obstacles but invitations. They are the psyche's way of drawing attention to the places where life is asking for renewal. In Jungian language, your symptoms are messages from the deeper self. In the heart's alchemy, numbness reveals the frozen places, anxiety signals life force pressing for release. Rather than judging these states, become curious. What quiet truth are they pointing toward? Even the weight of numbness can be a doorway, if entered with gentleness.
Friends and family don't understand. They want me to get back to normal. What if I never do?
Normal is often a word for the old, comfortable suffering that society accepts. But if your soul has called you to transcend the old, returning to former roles will never be enough. You are in a rite of passage, not dysfunction. Compassion for loved ones is important. They wish for your well-being, even if their language is limited. But do not betray your own emergence for the comfort of others. True belonging is found not by shrinking to fit the past, but by growing into your authentic wholeness. In time, those who truly love you may come to honor your transformation.
Sometimes I doubt if there's a deeper self, or just chemicals and chance. Is purpose real, or do we just invent it?
This is a noble doubt, one recognized by all true seekers. From the Sirian view, purpose is not imposed from outside, nor is it mere invention. It is discovered through gnosis, direct, inner knowing, which arises as you attend to your own deepest questions. The dance of biology and fate is part of the story, but consciousness itself hungers for meaning. When you seek, you participate in the universe's longing for self-knowledge. Thus, meaning is not only individual, but cosmic. Whether you name it deeper self or something else, something within you calls for coherence, depth, and belonging. This is real and trustworthy.
How do I hear my own deeper voice when my mind is full of noise and doubt?
The deeper voice is subtle, she speaks in whispers and images more than words. In Jungian terms, she arises from the unconscious, often through dreams, synchronicity, or sudden inspirations. To hear her, invite stillness into your life. Create simple rituals, a walk at dawn, 10 minutes of silence before sleep, writing down your dreams. Let doubt and noise be present, but soften your attention, listening beneath them. Over time, as you attend to tiny signals, a surge of energy, a persistent image, a longing that refuses to be silenced, the deeper voice grows clearer. It requires patience and trust, for she speaks on her own terms.
What if I want my old life back, just because it was easier? Is it wrong to wish that?
It is entirely human to long for comfort and familiarity. This wish is not wrong, but it is wise to recognize it as nostalgia for safety, more than for truth. The psyche remembers how to survive, but the soul remembers how to awaken. There is no shame in mourning the ease of the past, for grief is part of all transitions. Honor the part of you that desires simplicity, but do not let it become a prison. The path of truth asks for courage, not the absence of fear, but the willingness to proceed despite it.
If I have no motivation, should I force myself to keep doing things, or just rest?
This is a delicate balance. If motivation has truly fled, it may be a sign that deep rest and reflection are necessary. Forcing oneself can sometimes be an act of violence against the soul's timing. Instead, ask gently each day, what does my being truly need now? There are times when small practices, a walk, a nourishing meal, cleaning one corner of your space, can gradually rekindle energy. But do not confuse discipline with punishment. Your soul sometimes calls you into stillness in order to reweave your inner world. Rest and action can be partners in this dance, guided by gentle self-inquiry.
How do I know the difference between healthy discomfort from growth and something being really wrong?
Healthy discomfort has the quality of stretching or aching, it feels unfamiliar, but not destructive. When distress is a signal for growth, there's an undercurrent of expansion, however subtle. The discomfort says, you are becoming. But if something is truly wrong, your body and psyche will signal persistent despair, violating your integrity, or leading to collapse. The heart knows this difference, learn to listen to its signals without judgment. If in doubt, seek companionship with wise others or guides, as mirrors for discernment. Ultimately, trust arises from inner congruence, when what you say, do, and feel come into greater alignment.
I feel like my whole identity is crumbling. Who am I, if not the roles I've always played?
Identity is like a robe, beautiful, useful, but not the core of who you are. When the fabric frays, what remains is essence, more lasting than any social role or profession. This crumbling is a sacred dismantling, making room for the source self to shine through. You are not only employee, parent, child, or partner, you are the awareness behind all these forms, the one who feels, doubts, dreams, and witnesses life ever anew. In the Sirian tradition, the soul's light remains constant even as the shapes it wears dissolve. Allow yourself to stand, vulnerable and unclothed by former labels, and listen, who am I now? The answer is never one thing, but a living mystery.
If purpose is so unique, why can't I just figure it out with logic and planning?
Logic and planning are exquisite tools, suited for organizing what is already known. But purpose arises from the depths, not the surface mind. Like an underground spring, it flows from sources mysterious to reason. Planning may help you build foundations once your calling is clearer, but first you must allow yourself to descend into not knowing. Purpose is not crafted, it is revealed by attending to longing, resonance, and soulful curiosity. Let logic serve as an ally, not a master, on this journey. Your truest purpose often surprises the mind's careful calculations.
What if I'm afraid to start over? I've spent years building my life up to this point.
Fear of loss is one of life's great teachers. You have indeed invested years in shaping who you are, and honoring all you've built is sacred. Yet, the soul knows that true life is circular, not linear. What appears as an ending is often a spiral into richer becoming. Starting over is rarely absolute, it is an integration, keeping what has heart, letting go of what is dead. In Sirian wisdom, renewal is not a betrayal of the past but its fulfillment. If you sense the stir to begin anew, bring your fear along as a companion. Each new cycle builds upon the essence of what has been lived.
If the world seems so chaotic and dark, is seeking purpose even meaningful? Does it really matter?
It matters deeply, precisely because of the world's chaos. Each soul who seeks true purpose becomes a lighthouse, subtle, but vital. Your clarity, however private, helps knit wholeness into the world's fabric. Chaos is not a sign that meaning has fled, but that old forms are breaking as something new wishes to arise, both in you and in the collective. In Gnostic vision, to seek your sacred reason for living is never selfish, it is an act of cosmic healing. As you align with your heart's truth, you send out ripples that may touch lives you will never see.
How do I face the pain of regret for choices I made before I awakened to this quest?
Regret is a natural, even holy, emotion on the path of awakening. With soulful eyes, you see that old choices, made without full consciousness, may no longer serve. Yet in Jungian psychology, each error can be alchemized, transmuted into wisdom. Hold your regrets with the tenderness you would offer a child. The self who acted before did so with the light available at the time. Let your present awareness illuminate the past, offering forgiveness and insight. Regret, befriended, becomes a teacher, guiding you gently toward your next steps.
If I hear no obvious calling, no voice or vision, can purpose just be ordinary life, lived differently?
Absolutely. Purpose is not always thunderous revelation. Sometimes it is the quiet choosing to live each day with a little more presence and authenticity. Your calling may be infused into simple actions, preparing a meal with attention, listening to a friend, noticing beauty, creating order from chaos. In living ordinary life with fresh eyes and willing heart, you sanctify the mundane. The divine is always hidden in plain sight. When you commit to living genuinely, however humbly, you serve purpose in its truest, most accessible form.
What do I do with the impatience and frustration of not knowing what's next?
Impatience is the soul's longing pressing against the limits of time. Let yourself feel it fully, energy in search of direction. Notice where it dwells in your body. Instead of suppressing it, invite it to dance with you, move, write, sing, let the frustration become creative impulse. Sometimes the way forward is blocked precisely so you can befriend your own process, rather than rush toward a solution. With time, what appears as stuckness reveals itself as gestation. Your willingness to stay with the not knowing is an act of profound trust in your deeper unfolding.
Is there anything spiritual or cosmic about this process, or is it just psychology?
The border between psyche and spirit is porous, each is a facet of the other's expression. From the Sirian perspective, to question your purpose is to participate in the soul's cosmic evolution. Your longing is not isolated, it echoes the universe's search for consciousness within itself. Whether you name it spiritual or psychological, you are tuning to something timeless. The alchemy of the heart transcends all categories. You are at once a psyche in transformation and a soul weaving new threads in the vast tapestry of being. To awaken to purpose is to sing your note in the song of the cosmos.
What do I do if I feel nothing, neither joy nor sadness, just a flatness that won't lift?
When all color fades, and you walk in grayscale, know that this, too, is a sacred season. Flatness can be the psyche's way of pausing, allowing deeper seeds to take root. Do not demand feeling, simply notice what is present, the texture of your own being, however muted. Sometimes, gentle engagement helps, tending to plants, light exercise, sitting with an animal, or touching the earth. Even tiny acts of beauty or kindness can loosen the soil of your inner life. Trust that this winter of the soul has a purpose, and in time the sap will rise again.
How can I make peace with not having all the answers?
Peace does not come from answers, but from a loving relationship with questions. Rilke, the poet, wrote, "Live the questions now." In the Sirian way, we do not rush to certainty, we honor the questions themselves as living teachers. Make space each day to wonder, to not know. Write down your questions, keep them near your heart. Over time, you may find that answers arise not as conclusions, but as new ways of being. The art is to live spaciously, letting mystery be your companion. There is grace in surrendering to life's grand unfolding.
What if my heart longs for something my mind says is impossible?
The dialogue between longing and logic is ancient and holy. Longing is the language of the soul, while logic serves as steward and guardian. When longing seems impossible, do not dismiss it, inquire what it points toward beneath the surface. Sometimes, impossibility is a protection, a signal that the desire needs to be honored symbolically, or in small expressions. At other times, it is simply the mind's way of preserving comfort. Often, a creative compromise or gradual approach honors both voices. Ultimately, denying the heart's longing leads to stagnation. Listen deeply and walk with discernment, so mind and soul may serve each other.
Is it possible to become comfortable with uncertainty, or is that just wishful thinking?
Not only is it possible, it is necessary for a life fully lived. Comfort in uncertainty is not a passive resignation, but an elegant dance with the unknown. Uncertainty is the field where truth unfolds, where destiny can surprise. To grow more at ease, practice small surrenders, allow yourself to not know, to risk a little each day, to step into conversations or experiences without a script. Over time, you will find a subtle freedom where once there was fear. Remember, all the great journeys of awakening begin with a single step into uncertainty. You belong to that lineage.
Can I trust joy when it finally comes? Sometimes happiness feels undeserved after struggle.
Joy is not a reward, but a visitation, a sign that your soul is re-entering the dance of life. Struggle does not disqualify you from happiness, it prepares the soil for joy to bloom in new ways. When joy arises, welcome it as a beloved guest, without suspicion or apology. Let it fill you, nourish you. Trust that joy is part of life's intelligence, recalibrating your spirit toward wholeness. In the Sirian current, joy is a remembering of your true home. Receive it, even if for a moment, and allow yourself to be changed.
When I do find a new sense of purpose, how do I protect it from doubt or criticism?
New purpose is tender, like a sprout breaking ground. Shielded in its early days, share only with those who can honor its fragility. Nurture it daily by tending the rituals, practices, or visions that bring it alive in you. Remember, criticism and doubt are natural, they test and strengthen your commitment. Let them serve as pruning shears, not axes. Trust that if your purpose is true, it will deepen roots with time, becoming more resilient. Ultimately, protection becomes less about defense and more about embodiment, living your truth so genuinely that it speaks for itself.
What is the simplest thing I can do, right now, to move toward new purpose when I feel lost?
Begin with sacred noticing. Today, before you sleep, place your hand over your heart and ask softly, what is one small thing that brings me alive? Listen without expectation, trusting even a faint whisper. Perhaps tomorrow, let yourself do just that one thing, however humble. Purpose is built not from grand gestures, but from such daily acts of attunement. Each step, rooted in sincerity, summons the new life that longs to find you. Thank you, dear fellow traveler, for joining this circle tonight. If even a single phrase awakened hope or clarity within you, carry it gently into your days. I encourage you to like this dialogue, share your heart in the comments, and subscribe to continue journeying with us through these soulful territories. Your presence here is both purpose and gift.